Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome here at Al Madar. And today we're going to look at Al Ikhlas wa Tawheed fi Ramadan. Sincerity and monotheism during the month of Ramadan. We have a verse of the Quran where Allah says, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَلَمْ يَلْبِسُوا إِيمَانَهُم بِظُلْمٍ أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمُ الْأَمْنُ وَهُم مُهْتَدُونَ. So he says here, those who believe and do not mix and clothe their iman with dhulm. And the meaning of dhulm here is referred to in books of tafsir as a shirk, idolatry, worshipping and directing worship to other than Allah or other than those who deserve, which is Allah. And so here we have this word يَلْبِسُ إِيمَانًا بِظُلْم. Now, it should be understood that it's not لَبِسِ يَلْبَسُ, which means to put on clothing. It's from لَبَسِ يَلْبِسُ, which is basically used to conflate and to obscure. That's this one. So he said, do not conflate and obscure and mix in within your iman with Allah, dhulm, oppression. And this is very important for us as we take part and engage in the fasting of Ramadan, because unfortunately, many may be fasting and abstain away from food, not really thinking about the worship of Allah, nor that even being a concern, but purely for the fact that other people would rebuke them or they would say something bad about them, therefore they hold the fast. I.e., they are generally fasting for the sake of the people or for the sake of sum'ah, for reputation, not actually genuinely fasting for Allah's sake. Now, this is not to say this is the majority. I'm sure this is the minority of the minority of the minority. But we have to understand that there are varying levels as it relates to this form of mixing one's iman with dhulm. So if a person literally only holds his fast openly to the people and says he is fasting just for the sake of the people, and if the people were not there, he would stop fasting, that is pure 100% shirk. That is a pure 100% shirk. Whereas if a person is engaging in the fast, he does want to do what Islam says to do, but he uses that, for example, for also some worldly gain. Meaning he might emphasize, I'm fasting today, as in you are using it almost like a badge of honor or something kind of to gain some kind of worldly benefit. Now, this is not entirely shirk, because it's not something that takes a person outside the fold of Islam. But it is something that will reduce one person's reward, and something one should abstain from. And it's not just to do with fasting during the month of Ramadan, it's also fasting outside of the month of Ramadan, even more so even. So Allah says, أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمُ الْأَمْنُ. Those people who worship Allah and engage in the worship of Allah upon sincerity for Allah's sake, and don't mix any of that with any hint of doing it for other than Allah's sake, they will have safety. وَهُمْ مُهْتَدُونَ. And they will be the ones who are guided. Also, we have another verse of the Quran, we have another hadith actually, where it says, فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ حَرَّمَ عَلَى النَّارِ. Verily, Allah has forbidden upon the hellfire, مَنْ قَالَ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. The one who says the shahada of La ilaha illallah. So they utter on their tongue words of Tawheed, words of monotheism, words that indicate that they believe in their tongue, they believe with their heart, say on their tongue, and act on their limbs that nobody is worthy of worship, any form of worship, except Allah. And saying, and it continues, يَبْتَغِي بِذَلِكَ وَجْهَ اللَّهِ. Seeking by that the pleasure and face of Allah. This is what Allah has ordained on the hellfire, that such a person will not have the hellfire touch him. So we see here that sincerity and Tawheed comes with it great rewards. And likewise, during this month of Ramadan, we should try our best to make sure all our deeds are done sincerely for Allah's sake. That includes the Taraweeh, the praying of the night time. That includes doing the sunnahs that we may do. That includes all the acts of worship we may do. We should do it sincerely and purely for Allah's pleasure. So if you wish to give in charity and sadaqah, try to do it privately so you can fight against your nafs. And if you want to encourage someone to do good deeds, You don't have to necessarily reference it to yourself, saying, "Oh, I did this or I did that," and therefore maybe engage in the nafs, engage in the soul and its own lowly desires. But you could say things like, "Oh, I know of someone who did so and so, or I know of someone who did X, Y, and Z." Therefore, you're throwing away the praise from yourself. And this is how we can try our best to increase in our sincerity during the month of Ramadan. And we shouldn't brag about the good things we do during the month of Ramadan or even outside the month of Ramadan. We should try our best to increase in our ikhlas, increase in our sincerity in our worship. So bear that in mind, inshallah, as you engage, as we all engage during the month of Ramadan, as we worship Allah and do the best we can. And may Allah place barakah and blessing in your Ramadan. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel, and check out our website. We have many different projects we do in our charity, Al Madar charity. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.